Hey, good morning, all. It's Ani with Chica's Kitchen, and today I thought I'd bring you a recipe that it's a breakfast recipe, and it's made of potatoes and eggs and some onions and whatever bacon you like. I'm going to use turkey bacon, and they're called in Spanish. They're called bomba de desayuno, which are breakfast bombs. So you bake these after they're refrigerated. I'll show you the process. It's fairly simple. And the best thing about this is that you can make a whole bunch of these and wrap it up in saran wrap and keep it in the refrigerator or even freeze it if you package it well, and just take it out whenever you're in the mood. You take one or two out, defrost it, then bake it, and boom, you got breakfast. But I'll show you the process here in just a minute. I'll bring out the ingredients. I am going to make also some artisan bread. We're out, and it's Hubster's favorite. And so I thought I'd show you all again how easy this no knead bread is to make. And it's so delicious. It's a different texture than sliced bread. It's a little bit more coarse. It's got the big holes in the middle, and it's got a nice crusty crust. It's delicious. It really is. And you can flavor this bread the way you want. You want garlic bread, you want it to be onion powder, you want it anything, any kind of spices you want it to be, you just add to it. Just have to remember to even out the ratio of your liquids, of the water that you add to it. But other than that, it's fairly simple. You mix all the ingredients in the flour and cover it up, and 6 to 8 hours later, boom, fold it up, shape it up, and put it in the pan and bake it. And that's it. It's done. Pretty much hands off. Okay, so I'm going to show you that again, and I like to continuously show that because, first of all, it is such a good bread. Second of all, it's very easy to make. And thirdly, any new viewers out there that may just be catching this video, you'll see this technique as well. So I'm going to go ahead and show you that one first, and then I'll bring out the ingredients for the breakfast bombs. Give me just a second. Okay, here we go with the artisan loaf. Now, you can add whatever you want to this. You can make this a sweet bread, like cinnamon raisin, or you can make it a garlicky bread, or just a plain artisan loaf with just the salt and the yeast and the water, and of course olive oil. But if you want to fancy it up with some flavor, add whatever flavors you want. Just remember that when you're adding additional powders or dry ingredients, you will need to adjust your water. Now, for the original recipe, write this down. I hope you get your pen and paper ready. It's 3.5 cups of flour. Doesn't matter what kind of flour. I always mix my bread and all-purpose together. That's just the way I like it. But if you only have all-purpose, by all means, all-purpose is fine. Bread flour, even better. Okay, so 3.5 cups of that. This is the original recipe now. Okay, about half a tablespoon of salt, or a tablespoon, depending on your salt, likeness. A 1/4 teaspoon of yeast. Okay, I use active dry, but you can use the instant as fine, or otherwise known as bread machine yeast. And you do 1.25 cups, okay, of warm water. That's it. Oh, you also need a tablespoon of oil, olive oil. Those are the 4 original, or I should say 5 original ingredients. You got your 1.25 cups of water, 3.5 cups of flour, tablespoon of olive oil or oil, a 1/4 teaspoon of yeast, and a 1/2 tablespoon of salt. That's all you need for the original recipe. Now, I'm going to add, as I always do because this is Hub's favorite, garlic powder, about half a tablespoon of onion powder, probably a tablespoon of oregano, and a tablespoon of basil, or rather oregano and basil. Had it backwards. Okay, so like I said, put in as much as you want to your taste. Make it a sweetbread if you want. Just add the cinnamon and the raisins, whatever, apricots, nuts, whatever it is you want to make it. This is also the beginning recipe or the base recipe for the Mediterranean artisan loaf that I make with the olives, the black olives, caramel olives, and green olives. Yeah, this is the basic recipe. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and mix this up and get this out the way, and then I'm going to let it sit for about 6 hours. It should be ready by 3 o'clock this afternoon, and then I'll shape it and put it in a pan, a grease pan, probably my Pullman pan, because I want it to be a loaf type shape. And then I'll throw it in the oven at 400 degrees for about 30-35 minutes. And that'll be that. It's very easy and no kneading involved. Just shape it and that's it. All right, so here we go. First thing I'm going to do is throw the salt in. Mix that in there real well. Trying not to make a mess. Which I always do, but almost impossible. Okay. Then on one side, I'm going to put my beasties. Throw that in there. I'm going to put my oil on another side. So it all runs in. Then I'm going to, and I do this by eye because I've done it so many times. Put in my basil. Put in my oregano. Of course, it's to your taste. Put in my garlic. Be very careful with garlic. It could be powerful. And onion powder. Okay. So, after I've done that, I will put the warm water in. Now, now this recipe is very forgiving. So if you add more than 3.5 cups of flour, I won't worry too much about it. And just stir it. Sometimes you may need to adjust your water, like I said, especially if you add other ingredients. But what you want to make sure is that you pick up all the flour at the bottom of the bowl. And you just stir it around. You can also get in there with your hands, with your clean hands. Make sure you wash your hands before you mess with any ingredient. This is going to need just a little bit more water. So I'm going to put in 1/4 cup more. And that should be good. It should pick up all the rest of the flour at the bottom. And it should start pulling away from the sides. Just like it would in the stand mixer. Yeah. Ooh, smell that already. All those flavors combined. Okay. And what you want to see is a stringy kind of dough. Very stringy. See that stringiness? That's what you want to see. Very stringy. Once everything is combined, excuse me. Oh, don't want that. See, stringy? Get rid of the spoon. That's done. Then use your silicone spatula and that's all she wrote, folks. You get your little ball of dough, just like that. And then you cover it up. And I happen to use shower caps. You get like 100 for like $5. So you buy these fairly cheap. And you want something with room because this is going to grow. And sometimes it just depends on the weather, the yeast, the flour, and all those things, the temperature, the humidity. Sometimes it'll bloom above the rim. And sometimes it would just, as long as it doubles in size, you're good to go. And another thing to watch out for, if you see that your yeast has risen and fallen, you have to start over. That means it's no good. Your bread will not rise in the oven. Okay? Your yeast is no longer alive, so to speak. So, that's done. We're going to set this aside in a warm place and let it rest for about 6 hours, 6 to 8 hours. It depends on how much you're making of this. You can double the recipe. It'd probably be like more like 8 to 12 hours. But you get my drift. You have to wait because Mother Nature is going to do the kneading for you. So you don't have to use your muscles. Your muscles. Alright, so that's it for that. Now I'm going to get the ingredients for the breakfast bombs and I'll show you how to do that. Okay, I went ahead and thought I was recording. Evidently it didn't catch, but I went ahead and got this out of the bowl. I added some flour on my dough mat and I simply just rolled it into the loaf and put it in the pan. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is cover it up and let it rest for 30 minutes. Okay, the oven is preheating to 400, so I'm going to put 30 minutes. And we'll be back to catch this baby rise. Okay? Okay, time's up. Let's check. Oh yeah, she's risen. So, what we're going to do now is we're going to, let me put you up here, set you up. We're going to slice and dice, but we have to score the top. Okay, and what I'm also going to do okay, you'll see that. What I'm also going to do is I think I want some sesame seeds on top of this one.
And you were?
Jess.
No, Jess, I don't know what Marcus told you, but he's involved in something big. We're going to have to seize your house.
going to
What? I
score.
don't understand what's going on.
We're bringing in a team to search your home. This detective will stay until they arrive.
Looks like I'm gonna be
You
needing
can
a
stay
new
if you want,
blade.
but I would suggest that you and Chloe leave until the police have done the job. Go inside, make sure nothing gets touched. Let me know the minute Mark comes home. Whatever you do,
Okay.
don't let him in the house.
We are getting a search
Some
warrant to search his
oil.
house. In the meantime,
This is some
Mark
oil
won't be allowed
on
to
there,
move
some
anything.
olive oil.
We get a phone call from Detective Anstey. He tells us we are getting a warrant for the arrest.
And then some sesame, which I need to get this. I just decided to do this at the last minute. So I have to reach for it. Here it is.
Maybe corn syrup. You mix it with red dye to make fake blood.
Be very generous because
It's real.
these things I kind of like to fall off.
Mark had told me that these
Alright.
were the props from his movie set. They look like a killer from the show Dexter. I mean, he built a table just like Dexter.
Okay, so I've got my sesame
What's going on here?
on here. I am now going to place this in the oven. I've got my water below. I gotta get a new tray because I was already turning brown. Okay,
Looks like someone's already been doing some
so
housekeeping.
let's go ahead and leave that for 40 minutes.
Clark.
And I will bring you guys back. Okay, we're back. The timer just went off. I turned it off. I'm getting ready to check the bread. Fold the cloth. All right. Okay, let's take a look. Let's see what we got. Can you see that? I think I'm gonna put it over here. Maybe you can see it better over here. There it is. There's the Artisan Loaf. Sesame. That's going to be good. I got to get it out of there, though, because otherwise the moisture will have the inside collapsing. You definitely have to remove these things quickly and put it on a cooling rack. Okay, so go ahead and get this puppy out of here. Can you see? Yeah, you can see. See that? The music's done. Thumping. Woo-wee! And there it is, folks. Isn't that beautiful? That's an artisan loaf. So I'm going to cut a piece so you all can see what I mean by artisan. Okay. So let's go ahead and put you back up here for now. Just for a second. You shouldn't cut into this when it's hot. But for the sake of this video, I'm going to always let the knife do the cutting. Try to cut at an angle. And just don't push down, let the knife do the cutting. There's your artisan loaf. You see the big holes? That's a big hole. Well, it's got all these holes right here. It's soft and chewy. It's like a cross between a bagel and, I don't know, wheat bread, I guess. But it's got a crispy crunch of a crust. A nice, soft, chewy crumb, though. And that's an artisan loaf. This one, you can see the spices are in there. Can you see the spices? Yeah. See the holes? Yeah. That's artisan. So anyway, that's it, folks. I just wanted to remind you all again just how easy this artisan bread is to make. Now remember, I hope you wrote down the basic ingredients for basic artisan loaf without all the additives. It's very simple. 5 ingredients. 3.5 cups of flour, 1.25 cups of warm water, half a tablespoon of salt, or a tablespoon depending on your taste for that. And then a tablespoon of EVOO, okay, and a 1/4 teaspoon of yeast. That's it. Flour, 1/4 teaspoon of 3.5 cups, 1/4 teaspoon of yeast, 1 tablespoon of olive oil, half a tablespoon of salt, okay, and 1.25 cups of water. 5 ingredients. That's all you need to make this bread. Okay, no knead. Just mix it all up in a bowl. Cover it, let it sit, forget about it for 6 to 8 hours, come back, shape it into a dough, put it in the pan, bake it for 40 minutes at a 400-degree oven, and you have your bread, artisan bread. Now, if you want this bread to come out like a regular loaf with a soft crust and crumb, then you need to knead it. You would have to knead it. And I would suggest in a stand mixer, because kneading for me takes a lot out. I mean, it's good therapy if you got the muscles for it. I can't do it anymore. Okay, so if you have a stand mixer, go ahead and knead. If not, maybe about 20 to 25 minutes of kneading by hand, and you can work those the gluten together and get that nice smooth dough, and then bake it, and you'll get like a regular bread loaf. Okay, so whichever way you want to do it, it's up to you. But this right here, yeah, this is really good bread. You should try it. It's great with soup. All right, so until the next video, take care of yourselves and one another. God bless you.